It was a quiet November night in 2012 when 41-year-old Lisa Knoefel, a devoted mother, a loving wife, and a dedicated social worker, was jolted awake by the unthinkable. A shadowy figure loomed over her bed, a knife glinting in the dim light. The person attacking her wasn't a stranger. It was someone she had welcomed into her home, someone she had nurtured and cared for like her own child, 17-year-old Sabrina Zunich. Lisa had no idea that the real mastermind behind her murder lay just a room away. Her husband, Kevin Knoefel. While Lisa spent her days making a difference in the lives of others, Kevin was plotting how to take hers, driven by greed, lust, and a chilling lack of remorse. He didn't wield the knife himself. Instead, he found the perfect weapon in Sabrina, a vulnerable teenage girl who trusted him, adored him, and would do anything for him. But why? How did a husband turn his foster daughter into a killer? And what truly happened behind the closed doors of the Knoefel family home? This is the dark and twisted case of Lisa Knoefel, a woman who had no idea that the very people she loved the most were conspiring to end her life. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, in 1994, Sabrina Zunich's early life was marked by instability. Her birth parents, grappling with addiction, were unable to care for her, leaving her in the custody of her grandmother. From a young age, Sabrina struggled with a host of mental health challenges, including attention deficit H disorder, anxiety, depression, and bipolar disorder. These issues manifested in her teenage years, where she became known for her volatile temper and frequent schoolyard fights. By the time she turned 14, Sabrina's behavior had grown too much for her grandmother to handle. She was placed in a children's care home and spent the next several years cycling in and out of the foster care system. Then, in July 2011, a glimmer of hope appeared. Sabrina, now 16, was placed with the Knoefel family. Kevin, a truck driver, and Lisa, a social worker, along with their two young daughters, Megan and Haley, welcomed Sabrina into their home. At first, Sabrina seemed to thrive. She bonded with Megan and Haley, who saw her as an older sister, and her academic performance improved. But by December, cracks began to show. Sabrina grew increasingly argumentative, accusing Lisa of favoring her biological daughters over her. Feeling isolated and resentful, Sabrina turned to Kevin for comfort. He became her confidant, offering a sympathetic ear and a sense of belonging. Their bond deepened, setting the stage for a tragic and unforeseen chain of events. By the spring of 2012, the relationship between Kevin and Sabrina had taken a dark and inappropriate turn. What began as a father-daughter bond had escalated into a sexual affair, further complicating an already fractured household. As summer arrived, tensions between Kevin and Lisa reached a boiling point. Kevin confided in friends that he was considering divorce, citing the strain on their marriage. In October 2012, Sabrina shocked her classmate when she asked for advice on hiring a hitman to kill her foster mother. Sabrina revealed that Kevin had told her he wanted a divorce, but claimed Lisa was worth more dead than alive due to an $80,000 life insurance policy. According to Sabrina, Kevin had promised they could use the money to start a new life together. That same month, Kevin secretly contacted Sabrina's social worker to inquire whether he could retain custody of Sabrina if he divorced Lisa. He was informed that since Sabrina was nearing 18, she would soon age out of the foster care system. Meanwhile, Lisa had grown suspicious of the relationship between Kevin and Sabrina. She confronted Sabrina and demanded she move out of the house. Though Sabrina pleaded to stay and finish high school, Lisa remained firm in her decision. On November 15, 2012, Kevin drove Sabrina to school as usual. During their rides, the pair often engaged in sexual activity, But that morning, Kevin pulled over and broke down in tears. He confessed that he and Lisa had fought intensely the night before and revealed his plan to commit suicide if Lisa wasn't gone soon. Blinded by what she believed was love, Sabrina made a fateful promise. She told Kevin she would kill Lisa for him. The following evening, 911 operators received a harrowing call from 13-year-old Megan Knoefel. Through panicked sobs, she reported that her foster sister Sabrina was stabbing her mother to death. Police rushed to the scene, where they found Sabrina covered in blood, still gripping a 15-inch knife. Inside Lisa's bedroom, officers discovered her lifeless body on the floor, surrounded by signs of a violent struggle. Nearby, 3-year-old Haley was found hiding in a cupboard, trembling with fear. The autopsy report would later reveal the sheer brutality of the attack. Lisa had suffered at least 178 stab wounds, many of which were defensive, indicating she had fought desperately for her life. Sabrina, who had also sustained stab wounds during the altercation, was quickly apprehended. However, during her interrogation, she refused to answer any questions, leaving investigators to piece together the events on their own. Meanwhile, Kevin Knoefel, who had been at work during the attack, was contacted by investigators and informed of the tragedy. When he arrived home, his demeanor raised immediate red flags. Despite the horrific nature of his wife's murder, Kevin appeared eerily calm, almost unfazed, a reaction that struck investigators as deeply suspicious. Kevin's reaction to his wife's brutal murder didn't just raise eyebrows among law enforcement, it also left friends and acquaintances deeply unsettled. In the days following the tragedy, those who visited the Knoefel home to offer condolences were struck by Kevin's odd demeanor. Instead of grief or shock, he displayed an unsettling calmness that seemed out of place given the horrific circumstances. Adding to the suspicion, Kevin attempted to visit Sabrina at the Lake County Jail, where she was being held. When he was denied access, he became visibly frustrated, a reaction that seemed incongruous for a man whose wife had just been murdered by the very person he was trying to see. In the months following Lisa's murder, as Sabrina remained behind bars, Kevin wasted no time in cashing in on the $780,000 life insurance payout. He lived lavishly, paying off his mortgage, purchasing a fleet of cars, and even buying a second home in Florida. He indulged in flying lessons, seemingly untroubled by the tragedy that had unfolded. But his carefree lifestyle wouldn't last long. Feeling abandoned and betrayed by Kevin, Sabrina began to cooperate with authorities. In August 2013, she testified that Kevin had masterminded Lisa's murder. At 43 years old, Kevin had manipulated his 17-year-old foster daughter, exploiting her feelings for him to orchestrate the killing. On August 9, 2013, Kevin was arrested and charged with complicity to murder. His trial began in May 2014, with Sabrina taking the stand to deliver a damning testimony against him. After just over 9 hours of deliberation, the jury found Kevin guilty for his role in Lisa's death. He was sentenced to life in prison, with eligibility for parole after 30 years, by which time he would be 73 years old. Sabrina's trial followed in September 2014. After pleading guilty, she was also sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 30 years. She will be 47 years old when first eligible. In a recent interview, Sabrina Zunich, now 31, expressed deep remorse for her actions. She acknowledged that Lisa did not deserve what happened to her and asked for forgiveness, reflecting on the tragic consequences of her choices. Lisa Knoeffel's murder wasn't just a crime of passion or impulse. It was a calculated betrayal, orchestrated by the very man who vowed to love and protect her. A woman who gave her heart to her family, only to have it shattered by a husband consumed by greed and a foster daughter manipulated into becoming his pawn. But in the end, justice came knocking. Sabrina Zunich would eventually realize the horrifying truth, that she wasn't just a killer, she was a victim too. And Kevin Knoefel, he thought he had the perfect plan. But no crime stays buried forever. What do you think? Was Sabrina simply a lovesick teen caught in a predator's web, or did she have a choice? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this case as disturbing as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because there are more stories like this, and trust me, you won't want to miss them.